Hi traders, it's Ross Maxwell here from Keyzone Traders, and this is going to be the first video that I'm going to do in a series of videos where I'm going to look at the zone reports that I put out on my Twitter account in the morning. If you are not already following me on Twitter, the link to my Twitter account is in the box below, so please come follow me on there, where I'm going to be putting this out every single morning. It's my zones and a little bit of analysis around my zones on the FTSE and the DAX from my day trading strategies every single day heading into each session. This will become one of my subscription services, but for now I'm giving it out for free on my Twitter channel, so please come follow me where I produce this every single morning before the market opens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to assess what I've done, what I've put out in the morning, and how the markets have played out around my zones for that day, and identify any possible trading opportunities as well. So this morning we said that the FTSE is grinding up towards the higher time frame resistance at 72.15 to 72.25. Now, if we have a look at the higher time frame charts on here on the FTSE, if you go to the daily, you can quite clearly see that the 72.15 to 72.25, which is this red zone here, is the area that's capped the market for the last couple of times that we've been there. And actually, if you scroll back, basically since COVID hit back in February 2020, we haven't been above this level. So that's coming up to 20 months now since we've been at those above those levels. So it's going to be a very strong resistance area in the market that the FTSE needs to break. So we've been grinding slowly up towards that over the last sort of week or so. And that's something that we mentioned in our report this morning. So the overall picture on the FTSE at the moment is still very choppy. Again, if you just look at the price action here over the last sort of, really the last 3 weeks, this price action here is very choppy. There's lots of minor sort of support and resistance zones in there, but not anything really clear, apart from maybe this one here around this was 70, 80, well, we got 70.79 to 70.87. This is a bit of a resistance zone, a support zone, because we've had resistance, turn support. Excuse me. So basically we've said that it's a very choppy zone at the moment. For 6 months we've had a 300-point range, so it's very difficult to identify areas to trade in. Potential support was at the 71.42 to 71.52 area, but below there the chop would likely to continue. Now, the reason that we had 71.42 to 71.52 area, which is this area here, is we've obviously got resistance here, here, and here. So we then were breaking out above that resistance zone, so we've got a potential breakout retest scenario. We also had the previous day's high at around 71.52, which can attract in the morning. So we felt that this was a potential area that if it came and retested it, it was a potential support area. But if it broke back below on a retest, but if it broke back below, then the market would just be back into this choppy range. So that was our morning analysis. So let's go and see how this played out. Right, okay, so obviously above this was 71.42 to 52 zone. We felt the market was slightly bullish, and it was just grinding up higher towards this really key resistance zone, which we've actually sort of started trading just out of market hours. But in today's session, we just continued this grind higher. We did see this dip down initially. It didn't really offer any buying opportunities in this zone, but we wasn't really looking for opportunities in this zone anyway. It was really that 71.42 to 52 area. But as you can see, we just took out the overnight lows and then reacted from this 71.70 area. So although this here is potentially a buy signal because it's taken out the overnight low action and it's a Bollinger Band reversal, this was not something that we was looking at today because it was not from this zone. We didn't have a zone there. Maybe tomorrow, once we reassess the action, the zones will be adjusted slightly for this action, but this morning it wasn't in our zone, it wasn't part of our plan. So for this morning session, although it's a nice buy signal, because it wasn't from our zone, it was not necessarily something that we was going to be looking at. We wanted to look at something closer down to this 71.42 to 52 zone. Once we put in that reversal, we came up, and as you can see, we actually we used this zone around 71.95 as resistance. And we oscillated very much between this zone and this zone, oscillating and using this as resistance and using this as support, and creating a very, very tight corrective structure. Now, obviously, we've had the impulsive move up, followed by this really large, long-ranging corrective structure. We therefore expected the grind higher to continue up to this sort of 72.15 area, and in the afternoon session we did break up. We got our acceptance above this zone. We then came back and retested it, so this is a buying opportunity. It's not part of our plan and not part of our strategy, but this, depending on which strategies you have, this here is definitely potentially a buying opportunity. We've got a breakout retest of the zone, and then we then did push up, and like I say, into market after market hours, we have actually then pushed up into this zone. So if you were long from down here, you would want to be taking some profits on this trade around this zone here that we had as resistance, and then leaving the rest to run up to here. If you wanted to get long above this zone, you've got your breakout and retest entry here to target this key resistance zone. So we've sort of achieved our upside targets. It'll be interesting tomorrow to see what the FTSE does from this zone. Very slim pickings on the FTSE at the moment. It's very hard to pick out really clear-cut entries. Although we're day traders, we're very selective with our setups. But as you can see, the price action did respect our zones today, which is always a good sign. And hopefully there'll be more opportunities in the future. Okay, and on to our DAX report. We'll try and keep this a little bit more concise and to the point, as I know this video is starting to go on a little bit. But we mentioned that the DAX is showing signs of switching to a bullish bias again, although it wasn't quite confirmed. And we talked about support areas, although the market never got close to these support areas today. And we also said that if we could get above 52.90 to 305, it would potentially see another move higher today with resistance at these two zones here, and then if we gained acceptance above those zones, then it would confirm my bias back to the bulls. And actually it's proven to be quite a good analysis of the market today. So on the daily, as you can see, this is quite choppy, but we wanted to gain momentum back above these zones to really confirm that the momentum was shifting back to the bulls. We were going back above the moving averages with a really good shift in momentum, a really good impulsive move up here to show that the buyers are in control. So this has manifested into switching my attention again to the bulls. They're not completely out of the woods, but certainly at the moment I would favour the bulls over the bears again, just in the short term. So looking at the 3-minute chart, we mentioned this morning that we wanted to gain above this 15.90 to 305 zone. We wanted to gain acceptance above there. So let me just zoom in. And we actually gained that acceptance above there in the pre-market session. So in the futures session here between 7 and 8 o'clock. So we gained the acceptance, and what we did then was we came down and we tested this just after the market open, and this is actually a buy signal. We've gained acceptance above that zone, and we've come back and retested it. Personally, I probably would have preferred to have just taken out this overnight low here, but even still, this is a nice rejection of the zone on the retest, and this is a really good sign that the market was going to remain bullish and create that push higher that we mentioned in the report this morning. So with that said, we was going to be focusing on the buy side, and although we had resistance here, which did prove to hold the market slightly, we are looking for that push higher, so we wouldn't be looking for shorts from here or here, even though we mark them as zones of resistance. Because our overall opinion was switching to the bull side, we should be focusing on buys and using these to manage our exits of any longs that we have. So if you'd got long from this trade, from this level here, you may be looking to take profits in this zone, or at least risk manage here. We used it as resistance, pulled back slightly, had a continuation trade back up through the zone. We got acceptance above, and then again, if you was looking for a breakout retest, you had a few opportunities around here. Again, impulsive move up, corrective channel, a corrective a structure here where it offered some opportunities to get long, and use that zone as support. And then again, we pushed on up into the afternoon session where there was a brief pause at the next resistance zone that we had before breaking above here, just into the US session, came back down, offered another breakout retest opportunity here of this zone, and has pushed higher, and actually we ended up closing above this zone. So again, some good opportunities there using the zones and using the reports in the morning, showing that we've got a bullish bias, and there's a few opportunities there for getting long on that. So like I say, looking at the daily now, until we see some more impulsive moves to the downside and moves back probably below this 15,300 area, I'm going to probably be focusing a little bit more on the bullish side. Obviously we need to be nimble, and we need to react to what the market says, but certainly for tomorrow's session, although it's expiry day, that will be my focus first thing, unless we get a big move overnight. So that's my recap. I appreciate it's quite a long one. I'll try and keep them quite shorter in the future, but it's just to summarise the way that we saw the markets and how the markets reacted to our zones today.